Welcome everybody to Choices Finding Your Joy, and we are going to find some joy today. I have with us today Gemma Nastasi. She is a positive psychology practitioner, life and nutrition coach, author of the book Happy Healthy Life and the Positive Psychology Diet. She's also in the process of writing a new book, and she has actually trained in positivity and happiness. And so I am just so excited because we're just right there in the same little energy field, aren't we, Gemma? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Paula, for having me as a guest. It's such an honor and privilege to meet you. I am very excited about sharing some information about how I got started and what I do for a living. Actually, I started off in as being a holistic nutrition coach. I got certified in holistic nutrition, and I wanted to help people eat healthy and live a healthier life. And I found that a lot of my clients were coming in with self-esteem issues and a negative mindset. So at the time when I needed something else, positive psychology showed up. And I was like, I can't believe this. It was a certification course in New York. And I became certified, and I really felt like I was so passionate about everything that I had learned in the certification course that I wanted to share it. And that's when I wrote my book, The Positive Psychology Diet, 21 Days to a Happier and Healthier Life. And it's available on Amazon.com, but it's a great book that has 21 days of positive things to implement into your life. It takes 21 days to create a habit, the foundation of a habit. So in doing positive things for 21 days, you're setting a positive life and you're starting to create it. So a lot of people have found it helpful, and I'm grateful that I was able to put it out for people to enjoy and learn from. For that, I became certified as a life coach because the client is the expert of their own life. And through me asking skillful questions, I'm able to get them to help themselves. I can't do it for them, but I can ask the questions that open Pandora's box and help them to help themselves.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I know I myself I was a miracle in the beginning, a preemie baby, less than 3 pounds, not supposed to survive the night, and I did. So I've always had a grateful heart. And the habit part of it, just in practicing gratitude, when you get in the habit of that, you can be driving down the road and see someone getting on a bus and say, oh my gosh, I have a vehicle. How lucky am I? I just came home from the grocery store. I'm putting groceries in my refrigerator. How lucky am I? I have people that care. There's so many things in life we can be grateful for when we're thinking about what we want and what we haven't achieved yet. There is so much that we've already have in so many ways.
Absolutely. I always say that you can't focus on adversity if you're thinking about gratitude. They don't exist. So when you have those negative feelings, if you switch your brain to thinking, what am I grateful for? It's almost automatic that you can change your mood, and you can learn to do that. I have my clients doing gratitude lists, but I don't tell them to be repetitive. I tell them to do it about their day. What are you grateful for that happened today? And how did you contribute to the positive thing happening? I also use a lot of visualization. If someone's not happy where they are in life, I talk to them about, well, tell me what it would look like if you could create the life you want, and start to have some dreams and hopes.
Yes, I love that. And I love that you get them through that 21 days to where that becomes more of a habit than the negative and the what I don't have. They have the positive. And, the more we get something into a daily habit, really the more it comes naturally to us every day when you say,
Yes, you really can turn your life around. It's going to take work. Now, the 21 days is the foundation, but it's actually 2 to 8 months for it to really be a habit. So you can create positive habits. I also wrote an article, Capitalize on Adversity. Turn your adversity around. Turn it into something positive. Find the positive in it. Sometimes it takes a while, and it's really hard to think positive when you're in a very difficult place. But there are things you can do to help you move through it, by a lot of self-care, surrounding yourself with positive people, listening to positive things, and trying to focus on the gratitude that always comes up as something that is like very healing.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's such a powerful message. Jenna.
Yeah.
It really is. And you know what's exciting is a person really can control that and take charge and become
Yeah.
more positive. They
Yes.
really can.
Yes. And my book that I'm writing is Happiness is My Choice, where I know that they can choose it. You can wake up in the morning and you can decide it's going to be a great day.
Yes.
Most of our days are filled with positive things, but research shows that it takes 5 to 7 positive things to cancel out one negative. So the negative is that powerful and strong in corrupting our thoughts and turning us into a very negative state of mind. So knowing that is knowing that, you could have a perfect day. You could have everything. You could be promoted. Things happen at work that are wonderful. And you could drive home and be stopped by a police officer because your tail light was out. And I can guarantee you that you might say when you get home, I got promoted, but you're not going to believe what happened on the way home. And you're going to focus on that and the energy where it could be put into the positive things. So don't pay so much attention to the negative. Don't give it so much attention, knowing that the brain wants to do that as a protective way to, help us, but it's not really helping us.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And I have to share, on my office door is a sign that says, if I choose to be happy, no one can stop me.
Your happiness, and there are people that aren't happy, and they don't really, they're annoyed by you because they're saying to themselves, why is she so happy? Or why, what is the secret? Well, it takes work. And when you start working on yourself to be happier and use the tools of positive psychology, it becomes like a muscle that it just becomes easier to do. And it's like when you work out at the gym, it's like you don't even realize you're working out after a while. It just comes natural to you.
Yes.
So something you can definitely, put into your life, and it will stick.
Yeah. So this new book, that's going to help others make that choice and follow through with that choice of being happy?
Yes. We all have our inner critic, and our inner critic is that voice inside of us that is very critical. And I a long time ago, because I do a lot of public speaking, a long time ago, I put my inner critic in a chair with a blindfold on and covered her mouth and said, you are not going to say one negative thing to me. So when she does, I tell her I am human, and humans are not perfect. And I will not allow myself to be, to feel bad because I did something wrong or I made a mistake. So I my inner critic in check, but a lot of people don't realize that voice that doesn't make you show up in the world the way you want to, that actually robs your positivity, has a power over you until you have the power over that voice and you start to say, I'm human. I give myself permission to make mistakes. I will do better next time. No one's perfect. And you start to work on that aspect. So I talk a little bit about the inner critic and how to get your inner critic under control. And I talk about, other people. Don't rain on my parade is one of the chapters in my book. To set up your boundaries and how to protect yourself from the people that maybe aren't in the same place you are and don't really understand your happy state of mind.
Yeah.
I talk about being mindful and being aware of what makes you happy. How can you add more things into your life to achieve more happiness.
Would you say that, it can really be easy sometimes to let someone else really dictate whether we're happy or not? It's like, well, if they approve of me, or if I set this standard for someone else, then I can be happy, which kind of takes our power away.
Yes, there actually is a little bit of this in my book also about the things that people think are going to make them happy. Like, if I win the lottery, then I'll be happy. If I get this job, then I'll be happy. There will always be something else you're waiting to get. So focusing on the happiness where you are now, accepting where you are now, and life can be full of surprises. Keeping your expectations in the proper place. A lot of people have like very high expectations. Like, if it's their birthday, they think they're going to walk into their house, there's going to be balloons all over the place, there might be a surprise party or something, and they end up being unhappy because their expectations were unrealistic. So you have to ask yourself, are my expectations realistic, or are my expectations really out of whack? And do I come up short all the time? And if you do come up short all the time, you have to re-examine your expectations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a great point. Because yes, constantly having expectations, and because life is what it is, good chance you're not going to make everything when you want it, and to let your happiness go out the window. Yeah, that's a very good point.
You definitely have to protect your happiness.
Yes.
It's something, it can easily go away. And I do believe there's days for pajama days. I call them pajama days. Other people health days. It's especially usually after I do some type of speaking engagement, I am like drained, and it's my pajama day. I give myself permission. I can stay home, actually not in my pajamas, but if I wanted to be, I would let myself, and I just have the self-care. It's a self-care day that we all need. Self-awareness, self-compassion, and then self-care. And that's what we are. We're humans, and that's what we need to give ourselves.
Yeah. Loving ourselves, giving ourselves self-care, that can just recharge our battery. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we all have that happiness in it. It's just not shutting the door, just letting it be. Yeah. Having that gratitude.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. I live in gratitude, and I just feel like, if people would just start to think about all the things they're grateful for, they have so much more that's positive in their life than negative. And realize the power of negativity is so much stronger than the power of positivity. Research has shown that 50% of our happiness is genetic, 10% life circumstance, and 40% is controllable. And that's what positive psychology works with, the 40% that you can increase your happiness level. So there are tools. There's many things that you can add into your life to be.
Yeah, 50% genetic. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's amazing. And then that 40% we just run with.
Yes.
Now, Gemma, would you say that taking care of ourselves to aid in our happiness and is also taking care of our health, taking care of our body is going to make a difference with our happiness?
Absolutely. That's why when I started my business with holistic nutrition, I saw the benefits of what healthy food and exercise would do for a person's self-esteem, their physical and emotional health. And I really thought that was going to be enough. But honestly, it's a big part of it. But it's not enough. It's got to be that you're working on your brain and how you think, and how you can change your thoughts if they're not serving you. And how are you showing up in the world? Are you showing up the way you want to? How do you want to show up? And I've always asked people, who do you admire the most in the world? And they'll come up with an actress or someone, and I'll say, why do you admire them? And they might say, oh, well, they're smart, or they're this and that. I'll say, well, how can you be more like them? The things that you in the person, can you take those things and put them into your life, and how would you do it? So that's where the coaching comes in, of, getting them to think about what they like and why they like it, and how they could be more like the person that they admire.
Yeah. So with the coaching, can that be someone pretty much anywhere, and you just have sessions and you coach them and
Yes, I do Zoom sessions with clients. I have quite a few clients that I do that with. I also have sessions in the office. I'm trying to get together with some groups on Zoom. I've got to get time frames that work. I just did one, a Zoom session for a group that was on spring cleaning. It was getting rid of everything in your life that you don't need anymore, that doesn't serve you. And that's not your closet. That's, whether you're carrying baggage from past relationships or whatever isn't making you show up the way that you want to, let's get rid of it. And, talking to them about setting small goals and achieving them, and, helping them along the way to have a happier spring and summer. So.
yeah. I know that one of your favorite quotes is, "The teacher comes when the student is ready." I love that. And so what does that quote mean to you, Gemma?
There are some times that you try to help someone or even help yourself, but you're not at a place where you can understand what you need for yourself, or what you need for that person needs. They're not ready to hear. They're not ready to grow. And you can't make someone grow. There's a lot of people that stay in that negative place, and then one day they bust out of it and they do something great. And I feel like, they do something great for themselves. I feel like, the teacher came and they were ready. So I feel like that happens a lot to me in my life, as when I was trying to help my clients with nutrition and knew that their self-esteem and other issues were going on with their brain. I felt like positive psychology showed up, but if I was going to be studying anything in the beginning, it was the nutrition I was passionate about. I didn't know that I was going to be more passionate about the brain, because the brain really controls everything. And, how to study happiness, even studying happiness makes you even happier than anything, because you're studying all different things and you're applying them to your life. So I was the happiest, I think, ever in my life when I was studying, happiness. Yeah.
Yes, I am just intrigued with the fact that there are studies on happiness. And it's so fun. We're talking about this with my book, Why Am I So Happy? We're just the happy girls. But, so they have studied it and have statistics. What would you say out of those statistics are your favorite?
I think there are 12 intentional activities to increase your happiness. I would say that one of them is good quality relationships. There has been a TED Talk of what makes a life worth living, and they studied, it's a long study of over 75 years, and they asked the Harvard students what they thought would make a life worth living, and they said fame and fortune. And then they asked the poorest kids in Boston, and they said fame and fortune. At the end of it what ended up making everyone the happiest was good quality relationships. Not only did it make them happier, it made them live longer and healthier lives. And when adversity came along, they were able to overcome it. So relationships to me are one of the most important things. A lot of people are surrounded by negative people. They could be your family members. They could be someone that you have to work with. But learning how to cope with that person and taking a step back, not reacting, not letting the negativity attach to you, almost like putting an invisible shield that you put around you when you're with that person, and practice on how you can show up as your best self when adversity is right there in your face, and the relationships that are good, make sure that you are, totally around those people as much as you can, and plan things to look forward to with the people that the relationships are good, and work on the relationships that aren't so good, because those are the make us the happiest. Mind and body, keeping yourself healthy, meditating. I'm a big fan of that. Just making sure you feel good about yourself through your food and exercise. Flow activities. Flow activities can be something that you get lost in time. Time just seems to pass. You can't believe you're so involved in what you're doing. It could be that could be exercise, that could be knitting, that could be anything where you're just totally involved in that activity. But the thing about flow is that once you achieve something with flow, you keep having to raise the bar for it so that you achieve more and that it doesn't become boring to you, that there's always something exciting about it. Spirituality is important, believing that there's a higher power. If you don't, you're not going to be out of luck with happiness, but it does help. Setting goals, small goals. When you set a small goal and achieve it, dopamine goes into the brain, makes you want to achieve more. If you set the goal too high and don't achieve it, you confuse the brain and it works against you. So if somebody comes to my office and says, Gemma, I want to lose 30 pounds in a month, I'm like, okay, let's take it slow. Let's talk about maybe 2 pounds in a month, and let's talk about not a diet, because I'm not a fan of diets. Let's talk about how you're going to add healthy foods and what kind of foods you like, and let's talk about what you might want to add in your diet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's important. Kindness towards yourself too, because a lot of times we're kind to other people, but we're not kind to ourselves. So kindness is very, very important. And of course, gratitude is on one of the 12 intentional activities. Coping. You know, if you have let's say a medical procedure and it's difficult or something, maybe you're saying after that, I'm going to go get a cup of tea and sit outside and just relax. Or maybe I'm planning to have a relaxing weekend, put on some soft music or go to a special place that makes me happy, as a way to cope with whatever negative thing you have to go through.
Yes.
One of the big things is forgiveness. A lot of people hold on to that resentment about, somebody did me wrong, this and that. But a lot of my clients, I'll say to them, when are you going to forgive yourself? You know, if we're not perfect and we make mistakes, it's time that you take a good look at yourself and realize you're human, you're going to make mistakes, and try to forgive yourself for those mistakes and move on.
Yes.
And avoid comparing. The neighbor has a new car, the neighbor this. You have no idea what's going on in the neighbor's life. You know, it might look grass is greener, but you don't know. And if you don't know, then you're just assuming, and assumptions will get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Worry about your own life. How can you make your life happier? And that should give you hope. If the neighbor looks like he's traveling or doing all kinds of wonderful things, it means you can too. There's hope for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, a little bit of, the things that you can do, to help yourselves to be happier.
Yeah, I love that comparing, but that's true. I mean, possessions and this and that, the clothes you're wearing, that isn't where happiness comes from.
And that's empty happiness. It
Yeah.
leaves you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good description. Good description. My whole life, I've always said I could be just as happy in a cabin in the woods as a mansion on the hill. I mean, the mansion would have a pool and have all that, but that doesn't mean it's going to be happy in here.
Material things they're very empty, and you can feel good when you have them. But then, it fades. It doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Things that make you happy are, good people and taking care of yourself and loving yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to love themselves. And you have to start by taking care of yourself. I always say, treat yourself like a special guest coming to your house. So even if I'm alone, I'll light candles, I'll put on music, and I'll set the table for myself, and I will enjoy a healthy meal and savor the meal and savor the special time that I've allotted for myself.
Love ourselves. I love it. I love it. Will you share with everyone your website and how they could get a hold of you, and the books are on Amazon and all that good stuff?
My website is gemmahealthcoach.com, and you can email me at gemma@gemmahealthcoach.com, GEMMA healthcoach.com. And my book, The Positive Psychology Diet, 21 Days to a Happier and Healthier Life, is for sale on Amazon. My other book is not anywhere. I wrote it, but I didn't really put it on Amazon. And the new book is probably going to go on Amazon definitely before Christmas this year. So I'm working on it diligently, but I don't want to. You can't force it when you're writing it, But I've got to. So.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. With just a couple more minutes, what last words do you want to put out there, Gemma, for everyone to think about today? What do you want to leave them with?
I think that everyone can increase their happiness. I feel like you can choose it. And once you know that how powerful the negative things are, be aware of that, be mindful of that, and start to take it slow on adding positive things into your life. If you're living a negative life, you can change your life. You don't have to deal with you don't have to play with the cards you've been dealt with. You can change it, but you have to do it, a positive way and be consistent.
I love it. Oh, that is just such a great message, Gemma. And I do want to give you a heartfelt thank you for all that you do for others with your sessions, with your books, with your speaking engagements. You are just a beautiful energy in the world, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Paula. I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to meet you because I have admired you and I know what wonderful things. So thank you so much for this. And I can't wait to meet you one day,
I know, we're going to make it happen. I love it.
Yes.
And to everyone out there, thank you so much for joining Gemma and I today. Love, hugs, and blessings. Gemma, love, hugs, and blessings.
You also. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.